Hello, Deborah. Wanted to give you a video feedback of your checkpoint number 2. I want to say, first of all, very, very well done. I am looking at your journal entries and noted that you've made substantial improvements on that. And I've seen each one of the entries, and I'm just going through, as you can see, and I'm not noticing any errors. Very, very well done. I'm impressed with this. But I did notice, however, when you transfer your transactions over to the T accounts, what you see in front of you, the cash is a little overstated, about $10,000, and I am almost certain it has to do with the credits in this column here. There are some entries that may very well be missing. So if you could go back and check these entries line by line to make certain that each end transaction corresponds to the journal entries that you created. Also, I wanted to make you aware that accounts receivable is a little bit too high as well. Again, your entries look great, so it's just a matter of maybe you transferred some entries over incorrectly or you missed some entries. So go back and take a look at those. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to take a look at your trial balance, because those are the two that really stuck out to me. So your cash is a little overstated. Your receivables appears to be overstated. Now here, your problem, let's go to your receivables first, make sure we get that. I don't see your accounts in here in order. Your receivables a little high, but look at this here. This one here is kind of important because if you look at your T accounts, and I'm going to go to accounts payable. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Here you see the balance in your accounts payable is this amount. But for some reason, it's this. You need to check that out, and I think it's because you may have entered that number in manually. Maybe to get your numbers to balance, I'm not sure, but that's not correct. Also, there should not be a debit balance in your accounts payable. That's very, very important. It's going to always be a credit. Whether it be a large credit dollar amount or a small one, it's still going to be a credit amount. So you need to change that. First of all, remove that hard-coded number and then put the formula back in there. Because this number here does not match which on your T account, which is right here. That's very important to know. Also, I've noted, just looking at these balances here, it looks to me that this number here is off and this number does not belong. Let me tell you why. Now, although this number is a good number, I would believe it would be a good number. It's not going to be, we're not going to be recording our baking supplies expense until after we create our journal entries, our adjusting journal entries. So you need to remove that completely. That and this number here, which is accounts payable, these two numbers being off is throwing off your balance here. This number here is not off too much. I mean, it's off, but not a lot. So we have to make sure that you correct these three accounts. Remove this, correct these two accounts, and you should be okay. Now let's look at your adjusting entries. Obviously, the depreciation expense is already done and is already transferred over. The interest expense looks good to me. Now this insurance, if we're talking $2,400 and we divide it by 12 months, right? Think about it. We purchased for $2,400 insurance expense, and we purchased it in advance. But we need to remember it starts in August. So if it starts in August, this number here is too low. So you need to change that. It's actually 2 months worth. So you need to multiply that monthly amount times 2. That's important to note. Now, your entry as far as your accounts are concerned look very, very good. I'm happy with these accounts. I'm very impressed. But right here, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. First, for baking supplies expense, we want to look at our baking supplies. If we have baking supplies of $20,500 and it tells you that you've used up a certain amount, you know that you need to record the entry for the amount that you used up. But it doesn't tell you that. What it says is you have only X amount left. So we have to take what's left and subtract it from this number here to come up with your adjustment. So your amount here is incorrect. It's actually very, very, very understated. So go back and take a look at your adjusting entry, because it's saying to you at the end of a period of time, only X amount is left over. So that should be your ending balance. So how do you get from, in this case, $20,500 to that ending balance that is given you? That difference is going to be your adjustment. Second problem is when you do that, you have to make certain that you put in your credit account. Remember, the amounts are going in. The amounts are in this account right now. So we're going to reduce this amount. So remember, that account is going to be your asset. So you have two things here to fix. The same thing here. Remember, the asset gets reduced, not the expense. Now with this one, it's the same thing. If it's telling you that you have on your trial balance baking supplies or office supplies of X amount, which I don't see here. So it looks to me there's something missing here. That's another item. That's very good. This is missing. So I'm going to go to your T accounts and find out what's happening with that. Baking supplies, office supplies. Give me a minute. Because to me, here it is. $600 belongs here. Okay. This number here, this number which is right in this balance here, G56, belongs in the cell here. Now, did you have it in the right place? Now, the entries, again, you created everything fine. The number, the ending balance looks good to me. Ending balance here looks off because you, I think this is something, you misapplied an amount. I think this amount should be the $6,000 back in July. So you need to fix that as well. But for office supplies, what we want to do is make sure the office supplies that are on the trial balance, the dollar amount is transferred properly from the correct account on the correct amount from the T account. So make sure you fix that. It's not a hard fix. It's a very easy fix. I just want to bring that to your attention. So fixing those four, and there's one more I need to look at. I just noticed as I was going through. This should not be $200. It should be the $6,000 which you purchased. You did a debit of $6,000. This number here looks a little off. Let's see. Let's go to July. Well, my guess to you is go back to your entry here. And remember, this number here is the $5,000 credit. The debit belongs right here. Okay, so fix that. And you should be okay, because baking equipment, but see, it works out here. I think it's a little odd. It works out okay on here. So in essence, you're doing fine. You just have to correct your cash account. You have to correct your office supplies account, your receivable account, and this payable should not be there at all. It should be completely eliminated. You need to use the amount that shows on your T account. This amount here does not belong here. Remember, we did not record our adjustments yet. We're going to have an unadjusted trial balance. So this needs to be removed completely. And this number here belongs right there. So that this 19.4 should go here, not here. That's going to be the expense. This not belong. So as I go through, nothing major. Just got to nitpicky fix a couple things. Again, remove this move this 7,000, take this 19,400, move it here, completely eliminate that, and then when you put in this field, you have to take the amount that shows up on your T accounts. This number here is a little bit too high, and your office supplies, $600 is not showing up, and I think it's because the formula is not correct. So you fix that, and your cash is a little overstated. Make those changes. I believe you should be ready to proceed to your financial statements. And again, as I mentioned, this number here is going to change because what you're taking is $600 and you're subtracting what's left over to come up with your adjustment. And here, this number here, this particular account here and here should be the assets for those. So I think you're on a good track here. And I think that if you have any questions about how to fix any of these, let me know. But I believe they're just nuances and little nitpicky type of errors that you need to fix to fine tune your adjusted trial balance. Great work. I'm really happy about what you've done. And again, reach out if you have any questions.